Hi, welcome back to our podcast, Books Don't Review Themselves. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kim.
And today we are doing our weekly wrap-up of any sort of media that we have consumed.
So all my stuff this week is Cozy Mysteries. I will start with... We'll do alphabetical. That's what we're going to do. So, Apple Cider Slain by Julie Ann Lindsay. This is the first in Cider Shop Mystery Series, I believe it's called. It took place during Christmas time, and this book was awesome. The mystery was good, but what I really enjoyed about this was the community. It is amazing community. They come together and help so wonderfully. As you may know or may not know, I'm a crier. But normally I don't cry at Cozy Mysteries because I don't. But I had some tears in my eyes for this one because I'm like, oh my God, it's so sweet. These people are so wonderful. I think this is the first Cozy Mystery I've ever cried at. So that huge props for Julie Ann Lindsay for making me cry. Thank you. I will definitely be reading the next one. I think it comes out in April and it's called Pulp Friction. So look for that one if you've read Apple Cider Slain. And if you haven't, and if you enjoy cozies, I definitely recommend this one. So the next one is Death Becomes Her by Nancy Coco. And Bee is spelled B-E-E. It is about bees. This one was really good too. It's the first in the series. The mystery was good. I wasn't surprised or anything, but it was still good. But what I really enjoyed about this series is at the beginning of each chapter, she includes a little tidbit about bees or honey or the cat in this series too. It was funny because when I started this book, whenever I start a cozy that has recipes, I always skip to the back of the book first and read all the recipes. So I skipped to the back of this book and there wasn't anything back there. And I thought that was odd but then I thought maybe this is an art copy, but it wasn't. It was an actual copy. So I'm like, oh, maybe they just don't have honey recipes in this book. But then when I got to the first chapter and it had at the beginning, I'm like, oh, and I kind of like that because it gives you a little bit introduction to the chapter, and then plus there's a bunch more information that you receive that way, because when they just do the recipes at the end of the book, they'll give you 3 recipes. Whereas this one, at the beginning of each chapter, you get a little information. So I thought that was fun. This one I enjoyed too, and I will continue to read more of the series. Then the third series, it's a little bit out of alphabetical order now because book 1 in the series is Secrets and Stilettos. And then book 2 in the series is Lipstick and Lies. And that's by Gina LaManna. It's a Fashion as Murder mystery series, I think it's called. I first read Gina LaManna's book, Pretty Guilty Women. And I think we read that one and did a podcast?
No,
okay.
But I think you had read it in one of our roundups, maybe.
And that one was really enjoyable. With that, I remember Pretty Guilty Women, Gina LaManna wrote really well women's relationships, and I really enjoyed that. And then plus it was a suspense and you had mystery, and if I remember correctly, 5 or 6 women all admitted to killing the same person, so you had to find out what really happened. So when I saw that Gina LaManna had a new cozy mystery series out, I decided to give it a read, and it's really good. It takes place in Minnesota, so Midwest. I feel a kinship with these people, being Wisconsin/Minnesota. I will say that the main character is kind of an airhead. So depending on your mood and how you feel about that, she could either really be annoying to you because you'd be like, how can you still be alive? Or it could amuse you because you're just in a mood to just read a book and don't really care. So it amused me, but I read some of the reviews and some other people were like, oh dear God, There's a fireman who's her next door neighbor, and then there's a sheriff who is the sheriff. And so Cooper is the sheriff and Matt is the next door neighbor. And both are interested in her, and she doesn't want to have another relationship, but of course there's super hot men. So, she's like, So basically the, Stephenie Meyer Twilight series, you're like, where is this going? So how you have Team Edward or Team Jacob. Well, everyone who's been reading this book, it's Team Matt or Team Cooper. And I'm 100% Team Matt because I am. And he's the firefighter and he's super hot. And he lives next door to her and he feeds her food all the time and makes her coffee every morning. How could you not want that? And then you have Cooper, who's he's moody. And I'm too old for moody. Just no. So this is another series I highly recommend. Like I said, if you're really annoyed by flaky, flighty women, maybe you might not want to read it. But if you just read the story to enjoy the story, you should give this one a chance. And the first one is Secrets and Stilettos. So those are my cozies I got going on.
The book that I listened to, so we were at Walmart and I saw this book and I'm like, ooh, this sounds really good. And then I looked and I saw it was on Scribe, and I'm like, fuck, I can't buy it. Like, I can't bring myself to buy it because I know I can just listen to it. So I downloaded it while I was at Walmart. This book is really new too. Because I know I hadn't really seen it around, but I had like every time I'm like at Walmart or something, I'll look at the books, and so I know I hadn't seen it there before, but I guess I didn't realize it was new because I haven't seen a bunch of hubbub or anything about it. So this came out December 30th in 2019, and it's called The Wives, and it's by Tarryn Fisher. I'm going to read the synopsis because I think this really sucks you in. Okay. Imagine that your husband has 2 other wives. You've never met the other wives, none of you know each other, and because of this unconventional arrangement, you can see your husband only 1 day a week. But you love him so much you don't care. Or at least that's what you've told yourself. But one day, while you're doing laundry, you find a scrap of paper in his pocket, an appointment reminder for a woman named Hannah. And you just know it's another of the wives. You thought you were fine with your arrangement, but you can't help yourself. You track her down, and under false pretenses, you strike up a friendship. Hannah has no idea who you really are. Then Hannah starts showing up at your coffee dates with the telltale bruises, and you realize she's being abused by her husband, who of course is your husband. But you've never known him to be violent ever. Who exactly is your husband, and how far would you go to find the truth? Would you risk your own life? I listened to this book in a day. It's 9 hours. So I listened to it while I went through the car wash and while I drove to get groceries and like while I was making dinner and cleaning and whatever. It was excellent. I thought it was done really well. It gives me Shutter Island vibes. Ooh. After I watched Shutter Island, at the end of it, I'm still like, what the fuck happened? Like, what is real? What's not? And this is very much like that. I just found it very interesting because as soon as you hear this, you think polygamy. Yeah. But it's kind of not.
Okay. So do you ever find out who the third wife is?
Yes. Okay. It all unravels, and it's not even remotely close to what you think it is. Okay. And it is just, it's very intriguing because, like, most of the book you're thinking one way, and then you're like, wait a minute. That's when kind of the Shutter Island thing starts happening where you're like, what? So, yes, it was very, very good. I guess I just wasn't sure what to expect. Okay. Yes, it was excellent. I would highly recommend it.
I might have to check that one out. Sounds good. My other cozy mystery thing, I watched a movie on the Hallmark Mystery Channel, Movies and Mystery Channel. What's kind of funny about this is I had Spiros get the app for us, whatever it's Friendly, it's called on TV. We got it like during December. So, duh. But I figured, it's mysteries. So, like, there's 3 Hallmark channels on this Friendly app on the TV. So I'm like, they have to have some mysteries during December because, come on, it's movie and mystery. There was none. And I'm like, okay, I should have waited until January because I enjoy some Hallmark Christmas movies, but I don't need a whole month. I'm not one of those people. So I was excited when January finally hit because I started getting my mysteries again. And this one, it's Rue the Day. It's a gourmet detective mystery series. I had never seen any of them before. It was really, really enjoyable. I've watched some other of the cozy mysteries on the Hallmark Channel, and some were good and some were just not good because, I know they're not police procedurals, but when you have a detective, he's no longer a detective, but he was, like, just touching evidence without gloves or, like, even using his shirt or anything. It's like, come on. But this one, it was very good. And the 2 actors, the man and woman, they just like played so well off of each other. And you felt like they were really in a relationship. So I was really impressed by this one. And I had never heard of gourmet detective mystery series before because a lot of the Hallmark mysteries on there, are off of cozy mystery book series. Like there's the Aurora Tea Garden and so on and so forth. So I looked this one up and there actually is a cozy mystery series, The Gourmet Detective, and it's by Peter King. I've never heard of this one before. And I looked at Amazon to see like how many reviews these books had and stuff. And there's a whole series of them. And like the reviews, there's like 24 reviews, 31 reviews. So obviously this isn't like a well-made series or a well-known cozy book series. So I'm like, why would they pick this one to make movies out of? Because like Aurora Tea Garden, it's Charlene Harris. It's very well known. And the only thing that I can think of, I'm glad it was a great movie, and I hope the other ones that I watch are really good in the series too. But maybe since he doesn't have a lot of people reading it, they were able to get like the rights to the movies like really cheap. That's like the only thing I could think of. But I just thought that was really weird. And I hate to say this, but maybe I'll read one of the actual books. But for in this case, I'd rather just watch the movies, you know, and Mart, usually a book reader's like, no, the movie's not as good as the book. But yeah, I think I'm just going to be watching the movies and not reading the books. So sorry, Peter. Sorry. Okay, that's what I got.
For me this week is another podcast that I frequently listen to. It's called The Armchair Expert. It has Dax Shepard is the main person, I guess, in the podcast. And every week he has someone different on. So I basically listen to them on as I want to, like I guess as I feel like I really like the person. So the most recent ones that I listened to were... Oh, there's one with Edward Norton.
What? I'll need to watch that one.
So the most recent ones I listened to are Monica Lewinsky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I listened to Emilia Clarke. She had a new movie come out like around Christmas. So, because like some of these are older. So like the Emilia Clarke episode was 158, so it was November 18th. She was in Me Before You.
I did not see Me Before You.
Okay, so Emilia Clarke is the main actress in Me Before You. That movie is excellent. I cried. I sobbed. Actually,
I know her from Game of Thrones, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that because she did talk about Game of Thrones a lot. Yes, yeah, so she was in Game of Thrones.
The Mother of Dragons.
Yes. I haven't seen Game of Thrones. She talked about it quite a bit. She was just super, just sweet and kind and funny and, down to earth and normal. The Armchair Expert, I don't believe it's on YouTube, but it's still, just an audio file. It's not a...
You don't see the people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I listened to Sam Elliott.
Oh.
And just his voice and him, he's just...
They're, I think it was just yesterday, actually. When you listen to this, the Super Bowl will have been done by now. But Spiro sent me a link to the commercial with Sam Elliott and some rapper. They're basically in a ghost town and, two cowboys at each end of the lane. Mm-hmm. And the commercial made me laugh. You'll have to check it on YouTube, and it was a good. And I don't think all the dance moves that were happening were Sam Elliott. I think it might have been a double, but if they were all Sam Elliott, that man can still move.
Yeah, and see, the thing I really like about Armchair Expert is I really like Dax Shepard. He is... not shy. Him and Kristen Bell are not shy about the fact that they're in marriage counseling, that they have been even before they got married, because they understand that they are complete opposites and it does take time and things and communication to make it work. And Dax Shepard is, he's so eloquent when he speaks. You can definitely tell that he's had therapy because he knows, when he's speaking to someone, he might mention his childhood and be like, yeah, I know I have daddy issues, so I know for me, it made me feel this way. How, is that kind of how it made you feel? Or tell me more, it just, his conversations, and he's funny too. I would really recommend also, and they're, again, older ones. He had episodes with Seth Rogen, and I loved that. First of all, Seth Rogen's voice is just hilarious, but just listening to how different he grew up in Canada as opposed to us, and Dax Shepard was just, they just played off each other. So there was Seth Rogen was a really good one. But then he also has doctors. So Dr. Stephen Gundry, he wrote The Plant Paradox, I believe, which is a health-related book. And basically the whole concept of the plant paradox is that plants have their own defense mechanisms. So it basically talks about when you should be eating certain foods and how you should be eating certain foods. So tomatoes, you should eat them at this stage because of their different defense mechanisms. And it makes sense, but it also sounds super complicated to try to
figure out when you're supposed to eat each of these vegetables.
Because basically I think tomatoes was you should only have them stewed or you shouldn't be eating them raw and stuff. Okay. And
so it's a murder board on your wall to figure out when to eat all your fruits and veggies.
Right. Esther Perel is someone I really, really, really like. She is a doctor, and she is is a melting pot, I guess, because I think she was raised in France, but I think she was born here and her parents are from here. So she's just very well-rounded, but she does a lot. She has her own podcast. Where should we begin? She talks a lot about sex and marriages and whatever, and she just does it in a way that it's different. And so listening to her talk about that with him. Like, she again is her accent is so beautiful, and the way she speaks about things, it just makes sense. I really enjoy that podcast for the diversity too of it.
And talking about Dax Shepard, I wasn't going to mention this before, but since you brought him up, there's a show, I watch it on Hulu. Once again, don't know what channel it's on, network channel, but it's called Bless This Mess, and it's a half-an-hour comedy. And basically, him and his wife moved from like the city, like New York, to I think it's Nebraska, and to try to farm on this farm where the land is total crap. And
I feel like I've heard about
it's
this.
funny. I love, like, when I have lunch, I'll watch an episode, and it's just it makes me laugh, and it's a good show.
That's kind of all I have.
Yeah,
but
that's all I got going on. Sounds good though. I'll have to check that one out.
Like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you're kept up to date on whenever our content is being released. Comment down below, give us suggestions. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye.